Greetings, my Israelite brothers and sisters, heirs, joint heirs, adopted, grafted, natural, spiritual, however you may come. I want to say greetings to all of you all. Hope that this video finds you all well, prosperous, and healthy. You know, it's always important, our health. So I thank the Almighty for that. Just wanted to tune in today. I titled this, The Most Authentic Book. We've been doing this series and we're going to continue it, going to pick it back up. Friday night, we had a recap of the lesson that we did 2 weeks prior to that because I was out a couple Fridays. So we're back in business. Friday night, we're going to be resuming this lesson and putting it back on the table of what we're doing. So I'm just going to hook up my battery real quick because it tells me that it's a little low. So just give me 1 second. How you doing, Sister Veronica Brown? How are you? I did get your message. Friday night, this Friday night, I'm going to make it easier. I'm going to make it quick. I don't want to drag it out, but I'm going to already have presets when we do the lesson. It's going to be awesome. And you'll be able to get things very quickly. But of course, these videos, you have to go back and watch them again. The one from Friday night, we did that very quickly, but we didn't waste any time showing you the birth of the Messiah, whereas the first time we did that lesson, I kind of went through it as if I'm studying to show it to you, and it can get a little tedious, maybe a little boring for you because you're sitting back, watching and waiting. So what I'm going to do this week is what I did Friday night. I'm going to do that. I like that. I already had the different web links already set up. I knew where what I was going to show you on the screen, and I went through it very. I'm going to do it. Laughter, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while. So glad that you're here with us, and I hope everything is going well with you and all that good stuff. I forgot what city you were in, Laughter. I think up in the Virginia area. I know where Veronica is, but I think you're up in the Virginia area. So this is what's going to happen on Friday. She says, yes, Richmond. I knew it was up in Richmond. My memories stand good with me. So this Friday night, tomorrow night, I'm going to be showing you world history, how it was prophesied by Daniel and how it actually happened. It's already taken place. Now, not all prophecy, of course, the major parts of the prophecy has not been fulfilled, and that is related to the second coming of the Messiah and what happens during the millennium. What happens while he is in control on earth? What happens while the Most High is ruling? And you may not realize it, but the Bible tells us. The Bible really tells us what's going to happen during the 1,000-year reign of the world. And so that's important to know. The reason why we are showing you what has taken place according to prophecy is because it actually takes place during because people need to know that. People like to know that type of information. On the Spiritual Combat platform a couple nights ago, there was a group that was on there having a debate, and it was their position that prophecies have already been fulfilled. All of them have already been fulfilled. And of course, I had not heard that doctrine in a long time, such a long time that I almost forgot that teaching was still out there. I was shocked that somebody was still teaching it. I really was. But lo and behold, somebody still teaches that doctrine. So it is what it is. But a lot of it, if you just read, you'll know that this stuff does not still take place out there. So, Laughter, Veronica, so good to see all of you all back. And I know like the week before I didn't post as much, and there's a reason for that. You know, my time during the day is not like it used to be. So my time is pretty much in the evening, about this time for about 10 or 15 minutes. And car cams, I like to keep them within that 10 to 15 minute range because it just makes them more substantive in information to me. So let me get into the thought of where I'm at and where I want to go at. It's enough of you that are here viewing right now. So we're going to be covering what Daniel prophesied, or what he was given. Daniel was given a dream, and he prayed because he did not understand the interpretation of the dream. And so he prayed, and the Almighty sent Gabriel to give Daniel skill and understanding. Daniel was a dreamer. Not only was Daniel a dreamer, Daniel was an interpreter of dreams. So he was pretty good. He was pretty useful in what he did. He was useful for Nebuchadnezzar. He was useful for Belshazzar. And going right along, Daniel knew his stuff. And even when the other priests and the other individuals, such as interpreters and all like that, they could not figure out things all the time. And in fact, on Nebuchadnezzar's dream, he was going to have everybody killed because not only could they interpret the dream, but he asked for something that most people don't ask, and that was, what was the dream? Usually somebody would tell you the dream and ask you to interpret the dream. Tell me what this dream meant. Nebuchadnezzar just had a bad dream. That's all he had. It was a bad dream. And the poor guy could not remember it. He just knew he had a bad dream, and he wanted to know what that bad dream meant. That even the dream itself, he could not remember. Daniel was able to pray with the other Hebrew boys, and the Most High gave them not only what the dream was, but the interpretation of the dream. Belshazzar did not have a dream when he called upon the services of Daniel. Belshazzar was having a party and went down and decided to use the vessels that Nebuchadnezzar had taken from the children of Israel that were used for the sanctuary. And what he ended up doing was, let my caller know. So what he ended up doing was messing up. There was a vision, or not a vision, handwriting on the wall because of his partying and sending to go get the vessels, the cups and all of that to use for his party. And the Most High got upset. An angel appeared using their hand, and they wrote on the wall. And Belshazzar didn't know what it meant. None of his people could tell him what it meant. And his mother told him, said, listen, go down there and get that Hebrew boy, Daniel, because he was able to give your dad his interpretation of his dream. And although this is handwriting on the wall, perhaps he can interpret it for you. And he did. And that night, Darius died because the Most High punished him, killed him right there on the spot for going and using the vessels that were used for and by the children of Israel that came out of the temple. So that's how powerful Daniel was. And of course, he had his own dreams. And even when he did not understand it, he prayed. One of the dreams he did not remember, that is what is noted by a lot of theologians, is called the 70 weeks of Daniel. A lot of people do not understand the 70 weeks of Daniel. I was an individual. I did not understand the 70 weeks of Daniel until about 3 or 4 years ago, when I knew that our problem is that we don't read. So I started to become a reader of the scriptures, studying and reading, and all of our answers are in the Bible. They really are. We just have to read. So if you all watch the lesson from last week, Friday night, then you will understand the 70 weeks of Daniel. The 70 weeks of Daniel, just from understanding what the 70 weeks of Daniel meant, I was able, on the way of learning that, was able to confirm the year the Messiah was born, the year that he got anointed, and the year that he was crucified. All of that I got from the 70 weeks of Daniel, just understanding that. There was more to it, and Daniel prayed. But you notice that when Daniel prayed, he asked God, he repented for his own sins and the sins of Israel, the forefathers. And while he was praying, Gabriel came to him and gave him skill and understanding. One of Daniel's dreams, he saw these beasts come up out of the earth, and he didn't know what it meant. He saw a lion come up that had wings. He saw a bear that was holding 3 ribs in his mouth. He saw a leopard with 4 heads, and then he saw another beast that he couldn't even describe it. It was just awesome and terrible. But in the interpretation of that dream, he was told who the lion was. He says the lion is Babylon, and the leopard was the Medes and the Persians. The bear. The lion was Babylon, and the bear was the Medes and the Persians. And that's still who it is today. The lion, the bear is Russia. That's their symbol. And of course, the leopard was the Greeks. And it had 4 heads. And when you read history, like we're going to do this week, I'm going to present you with some facts that let you know that Daniel's vision concerning the 4 beasts that came up out of the sea was actual events that we can prove in world history. So that's what we're going to be doing this week, tomorrow night. But again, I'm going to already have the documentation, so I'm going to take you through it very quickly so that you can see it. And I'm not wasting time trying to search and find this and that. I'm going to go ahead and have the information there. I'm going to have the websites already ready to go. The different encyclopedia notes I'm going to already have, because I'm going to do it ahead of time. That way, when I talk about it, we can just go right there. And of course, these are Groder's Encyclopedia, the World Encyclopedia, the World History Encyclopedia. You're going to be able to see this right off the bat. You're going to understand, why did that leper have 4 heads? Okay? We're going to see all of that. Why did that statue have 10 toes mixed with iron and clay, that they could not really merge completely together? So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna determine why, and then once you understand Daniel's dreams and Nebuchadnezzar's dreams and how they all play out in world history, then there's other things that you'll begin to understand as well. Is that all of the prophets are saying the same thing? All of them. In fact, the Apostle Paul writes in such a way that he's really confirming what he knew and understood from the prophets. I was reading the book of Isaiah the other day, and I came across a scripture that says, in the book of Isaiah, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. And I said, man, that's one of those what people consider to be a scripture that's only in the New Testament, or so-called New Testament, Matthew through Revelations. But no, when that statement was made by the apostle, he was quoting the book of Isaiah. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. But people never quoted from the book of Isaiah. They quoted from the apostles, as if the apostles wrote it. So you're going to find that when we dissect the Bible, we're going to be able to do a lesson where we actually dissect the Bible. When I mean by dissect it, we break it down into sections so that you'll know where certain things you can find. And once you know the layout of the Bible, it would help you know where to go at and do your research and your reading and stuff like that. So the world continues to go around. There's a lot of stuff going on in the news. Earthquakes in California. We got a hurricane brewing out there, getting ready to touch someplace in the Gulf. So, but we still realize that the Most High is still in control. So we're going to be sharing a lot of this good stuff with you in the weeks to come, so you can really just understand Bible prophecy, so that you can be informed, because the scripture says he will reveal his secret things to his righteous. How you doing, Sister Tia? How you doing, Sister Sheila? I hope that you all are doing well. Sister Tia says, oh yes, I know where you're going with this, Isaiah. Yes, absolutely. Kelly, how are you? Brother Ricky, how are you? Lady J, how are you? And of course, we had Laughter and Sister Veronica in here earlier. So you all do me a favor, I'll get ready to sign off. Hit that like button for us while you're over in the room. Just go right over and hit that like button. And we're going to definitely, don't forget to tune in tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. or 8:15ish thereabout, um, and we're gonna get started. I try to get started no later than 9:30. I mean 8:30. I try to get started no later than 8:30, but our plan is to come on and be off. Not to take so much of your time. That being said, not taking so much of your time. Peace and shalom to you all.